Hi, I'm Ray, N9JA from ICOM America, helping out ICOM Europe in the Friedrichshafen Ham Radio 2019. I'd like to show you some of the new radios that we have here at Friedrichshafen, starting with the hottest radio here at the event, being the IC 9700 or 9700. The 9700 is a tri-band base station. We're showing 2 meter 440, but when we hit the frequency, we can then also see 1.2. What we're showing here is either the capability of frequency input directly or a quick memory that we can pull up. One of the nice things with the 9700 is the capability of doing satellite. And I found out, being here at Friedrichshafen, that there's a lot of EME and satellite operation in Europe. Easy adjustments, as you can see, in satellite mode they track together. If I need to make adjustments for Doppler to hear my return frequency, I just make the adjustment, or if it's in the sub, again make the adjustment. We'll go ahead and come back out. Another great thing about it are the modes that we're able to do. We have sideband CW, RTTY, AM, FM, DV being D-Star digital voice, as well as a data mode. The data mode enables you to keep your microphone plugged into the front and use the internal sound card through the USB port on the back. Another nice thing on the USB port, you can either do audio as well as the IF, which we can see here with the connectors, and USB either AF or IF. One of the biggest questions that we've had here was for operations with EME, can you power external preamps? Again, in the connectors, at the very top menu, external preamps. When you enable it, it disables the radio's internal preamp and provides 12 volt DC up the coax to power the preamp that you have at the masthead. Now, one of the fun things about the 9700, I could spend an entire hour just talking about some of the features it does. But one of the most popular features is when you look at it side by side with the 7300. They are beautiful radios side by side together. One of the nice things that you can do is 6 meters. So if you do VHF contesting, you got 6 meters, 2 meters, 432, very quick all together. And this is how I use it in a VHF contest. Most of my cues are on 6 meters. I will make a comment, do you have 2 meters, 432, 1.2, and then quickly grab the microphone to get the additional bands. The 7300 is probably one of the hottest selling HF radios right now. It seems like anytime you're on HF, somebody's always in the pileup that has one. But as you're looking at continuation of our SDR, and that's one of the things that I neglected to say about the 9700. The 9700 is the first direct sampling VHF UHF transceiver. We do have a single down conversion from 1.2 gig down to 330 megahertz, and then it's directly sampled. Okay. So it is a single conversion superhet in front for the 1.2. Then, if you're more into HF contesting, other than these two radios, the 7610 is our next popular radio. As you look at the front screen, there's probably many fingerprints because it's been very busy here, but it's a gorgeous radio. Or other than spinning it, I can come here and touch where the signal is. So very quiet receiver, very flexible on use. And one thing following typical ICOM radios, whether it's the IC7000, which was the first HF mobile to incorporate IF-DSP, you can quickly change the configuration, the bandwidth, customize what filter you want, whether it's soft or sharp, the harshness on it. It's all right there very quickly. On the fly, you can narrow down the passband or IF shift. Very flexible radio and in a dual receive function. If you believe everything on the internet, because if it's on the internet, it's always true, right? There are people that feel that the 7610 is only two 7300s. While the concept of two receivers, two software-defined receivers is accurate, that's where it stops. The 7610 takes from the lineage of the 7800, 7700 with two Digicel pre-selectors to protect the front end, very important for 40, 80, and 160 meters. The other thing about it is a faster performing, higher spec ADC as well as the FPGA being the field programmable gate array. This allows you to have more flexibility with the radio. Because of the improved processors, the 7300 has the DSP in an external chip. Where on the 7610, for both receivers, the signal detection as well as all the DSP functions are done in the FPGA. So that just gives you an idea of the dynamic of the performance. Also, on the back of the radio, we take a look at the back of the radio. We have two USB ports. USB 1 is basically your sound card and your rig control. Where the USB 3, which is number 2, it's kind of crazy. USB 2 is a USB 3. That gives you your IQ output. So there are software packages like HDSDR that you can use for a complete, not a complete third receiver, but a third receiver being whether you're using the main or the subband as the IF. You can listen to the IF of the radio, and then the HDSDR will be a dual watch in the same band of either the main receiver or the sub receiver. So as an example, main receiver is on 40 meters. You can be listening to a pileup on 40 meters and then use the SDR to be listening to phone on 40 meters. Additionally, some of the software vendors out there that like N1MM has incorporated the IQ output. So if you're contesting, you'll get the call signs coming in through the telnet, but then see the signals on the screen itself with the call sign above the signal. So that gives the contester an added edge, especially if you're a single operator contest that you're assisted. You can see your mult real quick, go get it, or a real rare station, go get them and then go back to your run frequency. Then also on the back you have an external display. The booth that we have at Dayton, we use a 70-inch big screen TV elevated real high and drives it perfectly. The final thing I want to point out on the LAN connection is the RSBA1 server is built in. Now we were mentioning the 7300 earlier. You have to have a PC connected to the 7300. That's not the case with this. You can set up in the 7610 two remote users with independent passwords, and they can go in through the RSBA1. And that is, some people look at the RSBA1 and see it just as a control software. There's two portions to it. One is the remote utility itself, and then the other one is the ICOM user interface. The remote utility gives you both rig control and audio. So if you're trying to do remote FT8, you can run the utility and then your favorite, if it's WSJTX or the latest software to do even FT4, you can do that remotely using the utility portion of the software. In this display we have two 7610s, one with the radio by itself, but then the other matching SP41 speaker that has your low cut, high cut audio adjustments, phone, as well as your input A or B. It's a very beautiful speaker that complements the radio very nicely for those that like to have a complete ICOM station. Okay, so the final section of the booth that I would like to show you is our fourth, actually the 9700 would be our fourth SDR radio. The 7610 is our third SDR radio. Our actual second SDR radio that ICOM produced is the R8600. Okay, so we're going to start with the rear of the R8600. A couple of things look very familiar. USB port with the IQ output. Two antenna connections, one's for HF and then the other one's from HF on higher. But then, very cool, the LAN connection to be remote control of the R8600. So it could be at home and you're at work, you want to listen to something, you can bring up the radio remotely. So now we'll come around to the front of the radio. As we mentioned earlier, it is an SDR for up to 30 megahertz. The receiver itself goes all the way up to 3 gig. So VHF and UHF is dual conversion down to the 30 meg range, kind of like a transverter, and then for 1 gig and higher is a triple conversion. But considering the R8600 has been on the market for 3 years, it's a very impressive wideband receiver. Thank you again for stopping by the ICOM booth here at Friedrichshafen 2019. Again, I'm Ray, N9JA. Thank you very much.